Hey howdy hey partners, today we're going to make a movie accurate Woody. Let's get into it.
Reach for the sky!
You're watching Today I Grew Up.
To infinity and beyond!
2 years ago I started my quest to make the movie accurate Woody that we never got from a toy company. Thinkway Toys did great with the Toy Story collection line, but we never got the toy mode that we wanted. I started with this 1.0 version that I made with my friend JC Alva. Then I realized, like John Lasseter said, we can do better.
We can do better.
So this was my better attempt. I got a rare 2009 cloud pattern real denim jeans Woody. I did all the detail upgrades myself, and the vest was already perfect on the toy, so I didn't have to do any modifications. And my friend Not a Toy Company did a great job on this head sculpt. However, the eye pupils were just a little bit too red, and so we could still make improvements. So I decided, why not make a video where I could show you how I can make this Woody from a cloud pattern 2009 Woody. So this is my Woody 3.0 video. So in order to make your movie accurate Woody, first I would recommend a Toy Story Collection cloud pattern Woody. These are the hardest and most expensive to find because they don't make them anymore. They went out of production after 2009 from Thinkway Toys, but we got real denim jeans on the collection Woody, something that's really highly desired because it's good quality. Later on, here's a white logo example. It turned into fake printed on jeans. So this is why in the movie, real denim jeans is more accurate to Woody. Also, the vest is perfect. This was released only in Brazil and Mexico in 2009, and it's sewn to the body and perfectly tailored. Unlike the USA Cloud Pattern editions, back there you can see the Cloud Pattern edition, it's just really horrible. It's not sewn to the body, it looks like a clown vest, oversized, definitely not accurate, and not toy mode either. So this is why I wanted to make my own movie accurate Woody from a 2009 Cloud Pattern real denim jeans Woody. Huge shout out to my friend, Not a Toy Company. Not a Toy Company, you can find him on Instagram. He made all the custom parts that we need today for our movie accurate Woody. He's really awesome, he's from Brazil, and I recommend, if you're interested in any of the things you see, to hit him up on Instagram. So everything we need to make our movie accurate Woody, 3.0 I call him because this is the third attempt I'm doing at a movie accurate Woody, is you're going to need a better hat. You're going to need a movie accurate voice box with Tom Hanks' voice because we know the toy originally comes with Jim Hanks' voice. And we have a ruby and holster upgrade, an actual badge with a real metal pin behind, which I will get into later. It actually has a metal pin like the movie, which is really awesome. And something I've done for the first time. My movie accurate pull string ring that I sell in my shop, TodayIGrewUP.com. Some new buttons that I found, pearlized buttons, that I will be selling in my TodayIGrewUP.com shop. A better belt buckle upgrade with the better accurate paint, better accurate painted boots with the Andy on the bottom of the boot, still with the cactus detail and spurs, really awesome. And of course we need the open hands and the movie accurate closed mouth smile Woody head, which makes the whole thing worth it. To me, this head looks exactly like Toy Story 2 Woody, which is the look I like best. He did change throughout the movies 1 through 4, so every Woody's going to look a little different, especially with the custom mods. But this one, to me, looks like the movie prop that Andy held in the film, in Toy Story 2 especially. This is made by Not a Toy Company. It's really interesting. It's kind of flexible and leather looking, which I like the leather warm look. It looks like a 50s hat toy, so it looks really good. And it actually has some real stitching here. Vinyl, polyvinyl stitching like Big Al says in the movie.
Oh, if only you had your hand-stitched polyvinyl hat! I found them! I found them!
So that looks really accurate, and the colors are just really spot on. I really love it. It feels high quality, and Not a Toy Company did an amazing job on the hat. Another important upgrade that you need is the updated holster, belt, and ruby with silver lining detail on the yellow around the jewel to make it look accurate like the movie, like we see it in Toy Story. And I really like this. It looks like real 50s vintage leather. It does look like real leather, although it is not. It is like a flexible kind of bendy plastic material, but it's painted to look like real leather. I love that it moves really easily. It's very realistic to Woody's holster. It was loose in the movie like this, and it did when he ran, it flopped around like this. So it's pretty cool to have that also translated over, and I think it looks really fantastic, and it's going to definitely complete your movie accurate Woody look. Not a Toy Company also includes in his kit, the upgrade kit, this awesome belt buckle detail. has the 2 pins in the back, so it goes right through the belt. I love the color, I love the detail, and it definitely looks like the belt buckle from the movie. Next, the badge. This is also made by Not a Toy Company. I love the texture on it. Definitely looks like what we saw in Toy Story 4 when we got a close-up of the badge. When Woody gave the badge to Jessie, it does look like this. Next, you're going to need a movie accurate sized pull string ring, which I found after 8 months of research. I sell them in my shop, TodayIGrewUP.com. So if you want to buy one for your Woody, I have the actual size in there in stock, like this one, and I'm putting it on all my Woodies because it's the best ring I found out there, which was very hard to find, and it's exclusive for my shop. Next, we have the pearlized buttons that I did months of research for to find. I finally found the perfect size, and I'm going to be offering this also in my website, TodayIGrewUP.com. If you want to order a set of these buttons, you need 4 of them, 2 for Woody's sleeves, 2 for his shirt, and these are the perfect size. They are pearlized. I like the solid white. It looks a little bit more movie accurate to me, and also the prongs here that are metal. You're able to stab it into the fabric and bend it with a screwdriver or a flathead screwdriver to kind of press it down, and so that'll work really well. And I love these buttons, and I can't wait to put them on this Woody 3.0. Next, we have the boots. So these are awesome. Not a Toy Company did a fantastic job on them. It really does look like the collection boots. Really good detail on the cactus. It even has the accurate color on the spurs. It has the boot strap holes there that are movie accurate as well. And they are a little loose, but it's kind of cool because it won't fall off, and it gives it a kind of realistic look to Woody when you shake him around. And so one of my favorite parts is that it does look like real leather. I love that on the bottom of the boot, my special request is that I wanted Andy on the bottom. So he got a decal and put it on there. I really like the handwriting on it. It does look true to the film. A lot cleaner too. And I love the way he painted these. It looks really great. So now the challenging part will be how to put these on the collection Woody. But I will be showing you how I do that very shortly. The next item you're going to need for your Woody is some movie accurate open style hands. These are great. I really like them. They're very true to the film, and if you look at the end of Toy Story 3, when Bonnie's waving Woody's hand goodbye to Andy for the last time, you can see it definitely looked like this, and that's why we need the open hands, because we know that Andy's Woody had open hands, so it's very important, and it's sad that the collection version didn't give us that. I love on the bottom it has a groove so we can add our zip tie to fasten it securely to Woody so that it won't fall off. If you want a movie accurate Woody, you need a closed mouth smile like this one. This one is awesome. It's made by Not a Toy Company as well as part of his Woody kit that he's offering, and I really like it. I think the colors are a lot better on it. He did a really clean job. The paint is flawless and it looks really, really nice. This is a really, really great upgrade because what we got from collection wasn't quite accurate, but this is definitely more like what Andy had in the film, and that's what I'm chasing. I really like that the pupils here are more brown. They're not reddish tint like my last one, so that is a huge improvement. The skin color is also improved, I believe. It looks a little bit more pale in color because the other one was a little too peachy, and if you look at the movie it looks like this most of the time. And if you look at the lips too, he did really subtle painting, so it's not too overwhelming. This neck peg down here is so that our zip tie could fasten it to the body, which I will show you how that's done as well. But I'm really happy that this is the Woody head sculpt that is my personal favorite to date, and why I wanted to do the Woody 3.0 modification. And the last thing you need for your movie accurate Woody would be this voice box. If you want to get this voice box, you have to get it from Divine Child. He is on Instagram, so go message him if you're interested in one. They are a little pricey, but they're worth it because it has Tom Hanks' voice in it. Originally, who voices the toy is Jim Hanks. Tom Hanks' brother voiced all the toys. So if you want Tom Hanks' voice, you need this one because this has files that have been remastered since the last edition, and it's taken from the actual DVD audio files of Tom Hanks' voice from the film. So it is authentic, and it's Tom Hanks, and we can go through the phrases. It is slow retract, and I did add extra room here so that I can have it hanging down on Woody a little more accurate, and I will be replacing this upholstering with mine that I saw in my shop. But let's hear the phrases together.
You're my favorite deputy. Yeehaw! Giddy up, Honda! We got to get this wagon straight up over. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. I'd like to join your posse, boys, but first I'm going to sing a little song. Yeehaw! Reach for the sky. This town ain't big enough for the two
So those are the phrases that you hear, movie accurate, and I'm so excited to add Tom Hanks' voice with a slow retract, pull-string voice box, something that we haven't gotten quite right from a toy company yet. So if you want this, go to Divine Child. He is awesome, and he can definitely hook this up. And this is a really important piece to your movie accurate Woody. So these are all the accessories you're going to need for your movie accurate Woody, if that's what you're attempting to do. So between me for these accessories right here, and Not a Toy Company for the Woody kit, and Divine Child for the voice box, those are the elements you're going to need to get all these accessories that you see in this video. So I've done a review of my Cloud Pattern Mexico release Woody, also released in Brazil with the real denim jeans. If you'd like to see the review of this video, click the card here in the corner of your screen, and that'll take you to that review so you can learn more about this Woody. But I definitely recommend Cloud Pattern, which is hard to get, but it has real denim jeans, and that makes a big difference. And of course for me, the incentive was the perfect vest, so I don't have to actually modify the vest at all. So that was really important when selecting the Woody. But like I said, if you can't find a Cloud Pattern Woody, here's my first attempt. It's a white logo with darker fake printed on jeans, but you can tell it still looks great, and it still looks like a movie accurate Woody. So it's possible to do it with other bodies, including the Disney Store if you don't have a lot of money to work with. A budget version for Disney Store body could also work as well. This is what I feel is the best body for me to use, and that's why I'm using this one for my Woody 3.0 modification. The boots. How do we take off a collection boot off of Woody? This is actually a pretty tricky process depending on which Woody you have, because some of these are glued shut really well depending on the toy. I don't really know on this one because I haven't tackled it yet, but we're going to use a very sharp screwdriver and start prying our way around here to see if it'll separate easier. Some tricks that I've seen some people use is they dip it in very hot water to loosen the glue first. And then other methods I've seen people do, besides what I'm doing here with the screwdriver, they'll use a hairdryer and heat it up that way too. There's many methods to do it, but for me this is probably the easiest. There's no wrong or right way to do this, because I don't mind damaging this boot if I have to get this open, because I don't need it. I have my movie accurate boots. But this one for me, it wasn't glued very well. I'm just going to pull here gently and boom. There we go. It's separated, so that wasn't too hard. Little stuffing came out there, but this is where the compartment that holds Woody's jeans. So when you pull on Woody's jeans, it's not going anywhere, and that's how they have it held in place so it doesn't fall out. So I'm gonna use my screwdriver here to prop this off. I don't think it's glued, so I'm gonna try to pull it off, and yeah, it easily comes off. You see the hole there. That hole is what holds onto that peg part right there. And so then we just slip it off, and that's how you separate Woody's leg from the boot, to slip it off. Very simple. And now I don't need this collection boot anymore because I have my movie accurate boot. So the problem is with this one, you can't go through the bottom. It's just a hole there. So I'm gonna have to find a way to use a saw, cut this part out, because I do want this peg part to still have for my Woody to attach so that it's secure. So I'm gonna go experiment with that, cut this up, and see how that turns out. Okay, if I can figure this out properly, it'll be great, because then everybody could use this video as a tutorial to get your Woody boot on. But basically what we can do is, one method is you can probably just use hot glue gun, super glue, just shove it in there, call it a day. But when you really pull hard, I would be afraid that it could slip out with time, or if things got overheated, the glue could melt and soften. So I always recommend Gorilla Gel glue, because that stuff really holds. So I cut the peg off from the boot so that we still have access, as you can see here, to the peg. The peg is going to help us secure this in place. So I'm going to slip it around the peg. There we go. So this is going to help us secure his jeans from falling out. Now I recommend inverting it this way though, so that once it's inside of his boot here, this way, it's really going to stay stuck, and when you pull up, that peg is going to keep that jean in place, as you can see. So I definitely want to add some Gorilla Glue gel on the sides of this. I'm glad this is flexible so that we can fit it in our new boot, and you can see that as I put it in this way, it'll hold because of the peg this way. So we're going to be able to squeeze in the sides, and I'm going to shove it in all the way down inside the boot, and therefore we will have a more secure pull. So I'm going to add my Gorilla Glue gel and show you how I did that. I gotta tell you, this gel is the best. I've used many kinds of super glue, none of them do it justice. For some reason, this gel really does hold. So I'm gonna put some glue, definitely use this for my Woody mod. Make sure you use some very long screwdrivers or anything you can do to shove it down here. It's gonna be very beneficial to wedge it down. So I'm gonna use a screwdriver, push it all the way in, and definitely get a good tight grip in there. As you can hear it, it's sliding down in the boot, and once we get it to a pretty good size down there, it'll be very secure and it's not going to come out. So I'm going to do that to both boots and show you how it came out. So I sawed the part off of the collection boot. That's what you're left with. Really awesome. It worked out really perfectly on my other boot, so I'm just very thankful for that. We're going to just slide it right in and it should be very secure. So let me put some glue and I'll be right back. Put some glue very carefully, and now I'm just going to start using the screwdriver. You can use a combination of just pushing it down with your fingers to get it in there initially, and then once it gets really deep, make sure you don't stab your jeans, but go towards the top of that, and you can hear it kind of, you know, squeegeeing in there. And to not mess up the height, you want to compare it to the height of your other Woody boot so you can have it even. The boot mod was a success. I made sure that the height was exactly like what we got from Toy Story Thinkway Toys Collection Woody, because we know that is accurate movie height, 15.5 inches without the hat, 16 inches with the hat. So I wanted to honor and respect the movie accurate size for Woody. So that's how you know how far you need to shove the jeans into the boots. Make sure it matches the height of another cloud pattern Woody, or go by your measuring tape, 15.5 inches tall without the hat. So that's how I was able to match the height, because if we're going for movie accurate Woody, make sure that the height is correct, because that's what makes a huge difference. So I'm just so happy that the boot mod worked out. And for fun, here's the missing section that I used to shove down into the boots. You can see we definitely needed to saw this, and yeah, it's ruined forever. It was worth ruining the boots for these, because this is just a massive upgrade. Movie accurate boots with accurate color. Technically you can paint it yourself to match, but I just feel like these boots that we got from Not a Toy Company are far more superior. The texture just looks like real leather to me, something that we didn't get from a plastic toy from Thinkway Toys. They did try, but it just looks so much better to get that new boot on there with the better movie accurate details. Also make sure that Andy is on the right side of the boot, because that's how it was in the movie, so your right boot should have Andy's name on the bottom. If you're going for a movie accurate Woody that's like mine for Andy's movie prop. Next, Woody's holster upgrade. We need to definitely remove this and add the movie accurate style belt and holster with real ruby, something that we definitely need, and so this should be fun. Now I'm going to show you how do we take this off of a collection Woody so that we can put the proper one on. Now, although it looks like I'm an expert and I know what I'm doing all the time, it's actually far from the truth. I usually figure these out as I go on camera. This looks very glued shut to this, or I'm not sure as we get into it we're going to discover how this is securely fastened, but I always start with a sharp edged flathead screwdriver, my small one here. It's very strong, and so I'm just going to go very careful underneath here, see if I can pry this off. I've never done one that was so brand new before, so I will try to do it without damaging what's here, but reality is when you're modifying, sometimes these things get damaged. So unfortunately I didn't see a way of getting this off without breaking the belt buckle, so I'm going to have to break this off and go in stages here. I'm going to use my trusty gator grips here to see if I can get this off. Got a lot off right now actually from just using my gator grips right here. This is very hard to do, so definitely if you can find an easier way to do this, let me know in the comment section below what I can do. But I basically have to break off the belt buckle. So I kept working on it carefully, breaking it off slowly like this. There's a gap here. I'm going to cut this off, and make sure you do not cut your jeans or your fabrics. It's double layer here, so I'm a little more confident. So just be very careful, and I am going to snip this. It's like surgery. I don't believe this man's ever been to medical school. It's true, I haven't.
I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
If you ever hear noises in the background of my videos, just know I have a lot of neighbors that are noisy and they make a lot of sounds, so can't really control that sometimes. All right, I'm gonna do that, and I can cut it here as well. I gotta admit, this is one of the hardest things I've ever done. I kept cutting it with this gator grips until I was able to loosen it, and it looks like it's a little peg. I wish there was a better way to do this. I tried to go behind Woody, that wasn't an option, so I'm gonna just keep breaking the pieces little by little, like that. That's all I could do because I don't know a cleaner way or a better way to do this. I'm just gonna be very careful to not damage the denim jeans because that's the most expensive and important part of this Woody. All right, so that part really sucked. No way around it. It just was really hard. I had to use this grips to keep breaking the pieces, taking them out until I'm left with some plastic pieces behind it still, but at least it's not poking out or protruding so that I could put the new belt buckle on it. Okay, so I was able to put on the new Not a Toy Company belt. Wow, it just looks so awesome. So I'm very excited for this, and we're just gonna slip this on as it has some holes. Wow, that looks so awesome. I'm blown away by how good this looks, that belt buckle, in comparison to what we got for collection. It is definitely unmatched to this new upgrade of the holster ruby metal detail belt buckle upgrade. I really like it. It looks so good. And I think we need to put a little bit of super glue here behind the belt buckle to make sure that it doesn't slip out. Right now it's not falling out or anything, but it is a tad bit loose, so I will secure that with some Gorilla Glue gel and put some behind there so it doesn't fall out again. But it just looks so good. My favorite part too is that the holster is loose, just like the movie. It's so cool. This is definitely the best movie accurate Woody ever. I love that so much. It's such a cool little neat fun detail to add. So that overall is a snapshot of how you can upgrade the belt buckle holster belt to make it a more movie accurate Woody. Next we have the open hands. Very important to Woody's character to have the open hands for toy mode. If you look at Bonnie, waving goodbye to Andy for the last time, he has open hands. The problem with the collection Woody is you can see his hands are cupped and the fingers are not separated and they're kind of bent inward. It looks like, you know, Woody's in a live mode and his hands are just resting by his body when he's talking to the other toys or, you know, just standing there. But it's definitely not movie accurate to what Andy held for toy mode or Bonnie. So I definitely want to change this to open hands. I will warn you, this is not an easy mod, so give it your best effort. You have to find a way to pull down the fabric of the sleeve here so that it bends down. There's no other way around that. So you're going to have to really use your muscles here and get this down as far as possible. As you see, it exposes where the end of the zip tie is. We're going to have to cut very carefully into the fabric. So you just want to make one kind of line of a hole here, nothing too crazy. All right, I've exposed it enough there so you can better see what I'm doing here. And now that the zip tie is loose because I cut it successfully, I can pull it out. There it is. There's the little zip tie in there. We cut that off. The hand just slips right off, the collection hand, which we don't need anymore, but now we can slip in our open hand and then get a zip tie. So in doing this mod, I realized if we get our, these are called seam rippers, and cut the button off, because we're going to modify the buttons anyways. So I'm going to very carefully take this button off. I noticed that I should have done that first. See, the button comes right off. Don't worry, I have better buttons. Now we can better cuff this down because the button was in the way. So I think it's better if we take the button off and then we kind of fold this down better. In case you're wondering, I found these on Amazon. They're really small zip ties and I really like the size of it because it's perfect for this mod. So you want to put the zip tie in the pocket that originally the other one was. This is a little tricky. I'm just going to keep the hand in kind of in place while I get this zip tie all the way around the pocket. Make sure your zip tie is in the pocket now and lined up with the groove of that hand. Then you could tighten this as tight as you can. Just make sure that the hand doesn't slip out. It is tricky to do, but with time, patience, and determination, we can do it. So don't worry about the extra little threads. Those could be clipped off. Very tight, but to the point where you still want to articulate the hand. So don't go so tight. Just give it a pull and if it's not falling out, that means you did a good job. One thing you can also do is you need to cut this part off here because you don't want to have extra zip tie poking out there. It'd be kind of weird. That mod was successful. The hand is great. Cut off some extra threads and now you can just see how much better it is than the collection hands. And remember, make sure you have some articulation, as I could still spin his hand with ease, and that's what you want. And obviously the pull test, if you pull it and it doesn't come out, that means you did a great job. So I'm going to do the buttons later, but I'm going to do the other hand now, and now you know how you can install these hands on your collection Woody. The next thing I'm going to do to mod this Woody is take off the tag. It's brand new, 2009 cloud pattern. I'm very grateful for it. But the one thing that I don't like about this is this giant tag, which is definitely in my way visually. It doesn't look good. All I'm going to do for this is just get my scissors and do a very clean cut and try to remove it all as much as possible. I will do this off camera because it's hard to do on camera, but I'll show you my results. So just go very slowly with the scissors and you can get all the tag off. I didn't have any issues with it. I just was very careful, went very slowly, and I was able to cut the tag right off. And now we see more of Woody's vest, which is amazing, on this 2009 cloud pattern Woody. The buttons. So I'm now offering these buttons that I found on my website, TodayIGrewUP.com. So if you want to find the buttons that I found, go to TodayIGrewUP.com to buy them for your Woody, as I'm going to be upgrading my Woody with these. In the movie, I like that sometimes Woody's pearlized effect looks more like a solid milk white button like this one. This was something that was very hard for me to find. I searched all over the internet, finally found a distributor who was able to work with me. So Thinkway Toys tried, and I just think it needs a little deluxe touch to make it look that much more vintage and realistic to Woody in the movie. To remove the buttons, we need our seam rippers, I call them. And we're going to go very carefully underneath the button to remove that, and as well as the same method as the badge, also has some threads underneath here. So you need to pull on the badge to expose the threads that hold the badge onto the vest. Same thing with the buttons. You really have to kind of pull on it really well to show the threads, because you don't want to cut the actual shirt. So I actually used a tool, my gator grips, to kind of pull on the button just to expose the threads, because I want to be very careful to not actually damage this. And there we go. With some effort, I was able to get that badge off. It was hard to do. There's some loose threads here, but that doesn't bother me. So I was able to cut the threads off, and I realized that the badge was partially glued on. Or it melted or something over the years. I mean, this thing is pretty old. It's from 2009, so anything's possible. So there is some, I guess, old damage to the vest from this being glued on over the years. But that doesn't really bother me because I have a badge replacement, and the badge is going to cover this vest area. And I'm going to spend some time loosening the threads until both buttons are off. So right here, we're in the movie, his collar is a little loose. It's not sewn to the body like this. So very carefully, you want to get here and cut the little thread that was loose. And now, just like that, it's more accurate to the movie to have the collar kind of free to work with. Like I said, always go slow. Always be very careful when doing this stuff. And you should be fine. Just got to find the thread and loosen it. That's why these are great, because it doesn't damage anything. It just pulls apart the loose threads. So now that we've loosened the collar, any extra threads you see, you can just pull it off. In order to upgrade the buttons, we definitely need to get behind Woody here, which means we need to go through the voice box. Back here, we also have to release the bandana. It is tied around the neck, but it's also sewn here by a yellow thread. We need to get access to Woody to separate the head from the body as well. And the bandana, we can just retie it later. So there we go. Now we've freed the bandana. Use your hands here and you'll be able to untie the bandana. Just pull it off and there we go. We free Woody of the bandana. And so this is the interesting part. Usually what I tell people to do is to get a screwdriver and just be very careful. I actually promised this head to a friend of mine already. I'm going to give it to him, but I'm going to be very gentle here. So you just want to loosen it. Once you get it loose enough, you're just going to have to literally pull off the head like Sid. Pulling hard. Oh! That was really hard. That was very successful. I was able to separate the head without damaging it. As you can tell, there was no glue here, so I'm very grateful for that because it was a clean pull, and I was able to save the head in case you need it for a future time. So in order to save the voice box so you don't damage it, even though I'm not using this one, you want to get some gator grips like this, because then you're able to temporarily clamp it, and now I can untie the pull string ring. I mean, it's just such a huge difference. I think they do big rings for safety reasons, not really sure, or choking hazards, but it definitely needs to be that size, and that's why I'm glad I found the movie accurate ones. Alright, so I'm going to remove the voice box now. This will give me way more room inside to work with Woody, especially with the button mod. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, and I forgot about, was you need to cut the zip tie right here around the neck. Alright, so make sure you remove that zip tie right here around the neck. So removing that zip tie, you'll be able to release the voice box. And yeah, I forgot that detail. I'm glad I caught it now. But yeah, we're going to replace that once we put the new head on. And now we've released the head and taken out the voice box completely. So now we're left with the open cavity here where I could work on Woody's buttons. So that's perfect. And now that the voice box out, we can put the new one in later on. So that is great news. Don't worry, I saved the voice box. Now I can unclamp it. It's saved. So if I ever wanted to replace it or put it back inside of Woody, I could do that, but this is what it looks like, taken out completely from the collection body. And it's cool, but you know, the Tom Hanks slow retract voice box is way better, so that's why we don't need this anymore. So this part's very hard to do. Definitely you want to match it up to the movie. I looked at the movie still. It looked like the buttons were exactly positioned here as you see them. You want to just stab it right into the fabric because it has those sharp pieces, so you are able to stab it in. I'm not going to lie, this is going to be the most difficult part of this mod, is you have to stab it through the fabric, make sure the prongs come out through the fabric, and then you're going to get your screwdriver, your flathead screwdriver, and flatten them, the metal pieces, so that they are gripping the cloth so that there is no way they're going to come off. So now I'm going to use my flathead screwdriver, flatten these, and I'll show you what that looks like when you're done. That was really hard to do, but I accomplished my goal. And as you can see, there's 5 of them that I bent over, so now they are gripping the cloth, and there's no way this button is going to fall out now, which I love about these buttons. It is very difficult, but you got to do it twice for his shirt, and I think the cuffs will be a little tough too, but this is the way you add the buttons to your Woody. So for the cuffs, you're also going to have to stab the button this way. In the movie, it kind of looked like it was around here, so I'm going to stab it there. And then what I'm going to do is hold it in place while I get my gator grips, and I'm going to fold over the fabric. Alright, that took some time, but I got the prongs in there under the sleeve, and this button is not going anywhere. It is very nice and secure, and it worked out for the mod. Now, let's say you're at home and you're trying this and you're like, today I grew up, I can't do this. Well, a cheat sheet that you can do is you can either super glue it. I don't recommend that method, but if you have to, super glue it. If not, you can put a cloth over this way, get some clamps like this one, and then you could squeeze it and just hope, you know, don't squeeze it too tight, but squeeze it hard enough where the metal prongs would probably bend because you're applying so much force on it. But as I try to pull it out, it's definitely stuck in there. It's not coming out. Same thing with the hand. So, you know, best of luck out there. This is one of the hardest mods to do, getting the buttons on the sleeves especially, and getting the buttons on the shirt. But if you work hard, you can definitely achieve it. I'm very happy with the upgrade buttons. Really kind of shiny there against the light, a little bit reflective. I do like that. Definitely way better than what we got from Thinkway Toys. Thinkway Toys tried their best, but in reality it wasn't as good. It was just cheap plastic buttons, and this actually has a real metal silver detailing and actually pearlized effect. So I'm very happy. If you want to buy these buttons, I will offer it at my shop right now. Go to TodayIGrewUP.com and you can buy these buttons for your Woody upgrade, and I'm just really happy that I worked out for this Woody 3.0 mod. Very movie accurate badge. It's texturized. We see it close up in Toy Story 4, so we really see the detail then. It really looks like this, except for the back. You know, we know now from looking at the back of it, from Woody turning it over, that it's actually just a pin. So I broke a pin, safety pin, a small one off, and there's actually a hole already here, so it works perfectly for me. So I'm just going to super glue it in like that, and guess what? It's the exact design that Woody had when he put the badge on Jessie. He just took it off like this and stabbed it right on. It's just a pin that sticks out like this. So for the first time ever, a truly movie accurate pin-on badge, just like we saw in Toy Story 4, is going to be stabbed onto Woody, which is more accurate to a 50s toy.
Everything is exactly the way we figure that the real Woody doll looks like.
Everything is exactly the way we figure that the real Woody doll looks like.
So I super glued the needle on the back, and now I'm going to let it dry for a while, and then we will stab this on Woody very last as our finishing touches for our Woody 3.0 mod. I'm just super excited that this worked out, and there was holes in the back for me to do this. It was kind of a happy accident, and I'm very grateful for this accident because now it looks super awesome. The voice box. We are going to add the voice box now. This is bought by Divine Child in the UK. If you want to see a review for this voice box, click the card in the corner of your screen. That'll take you to the in-depth review, which I'm not doing here. We just have to install this in Woody here. It's a slow retract. Tom Hanks phrases are in it, ripped from the DVD, so we know it's Tom Hanks. For those of you who don't know, Jim Hanks, his brother, actually voiced the toys, and that's why we had to modify a Tom Hanks slow retract voice box, because a toy company has never released that before until now. So I untied the ring from the voice box. I prefer mine over the one it comes with, mainly because it's a little bit more vibrant white like the movie. It's a little skinnier like the movie. The one that comes with is a little dull plastic, and it's a little thick. So if you want to buy my accurate ones, go to TodayIGrewUP.com right now, and you'll be able to buy this pull string ring, which is more accurate, which I plan to use. So I don't need this one. What's great about the voice box is it doesn't retract all the way in, so I'm very grateful for that. So I don't really need my gator grips, and I'm glad there's a little extra slack in there so that I can make it hang low on Woody's vest, just like the movie. What I'm going to do here is wrap the string around the screwdriver and thread it right through the silver hole right here and get the thread through. So as you thread it through, I use a little screwdriver always. That just makes my job 100 times easier. Now we got the pull string out, and now I can put the voice box in his body. Make sure the position of the voice box is this hole is closest to this one, so we have the farthest pull on the string. Otherwise, if you do it this way, it's going to be weird, the tension. You want it to be facing this way when putting it inside Woody. Now I do want the pull string to kind of hang down a little bit like this, because it was like that in the movie. Now I know in the movie the hole is actually a little higher up, and the string would be hanging around, maybe around here, but the hole would be up here. Unfortunately, I can't change Thinkway Toys design. I love this vest and I don't want to ruin it. So by honoring Thinkway Toys, we're just going to go based off of what they gave us. And so I'm just going to hang it a little lower right there, and it's better than nothing. So I did one knot there. I'm going to do one more knot, and then don't forget to really seal it. You need to put a drop of super glue on that second knot, let it dry, and then wait. I would say wait half an hour to an hour, even wait a whole day, sometimes a few hours, just because you don't want to mess up that string. You could always fix it, but it'd be a big hassle. So make sure you tie it tight, put a super glue dot, and just let it dry, and don't mess with it for a very long time until you're confident it's dry. I let it dry for a long time and now it looks great, and I do like that there's still a little give there for it to kind of hang down, which is more movie accurate. Now we're going to hear the Tom Hanks phrases to see how it works.
Somebody's poisoned the water hole.
And yep, it does work.
I'd like to join your posse, boys, but first I'm going to sing a little song. Yee-haw! Giddy up, Honda! We got to get this wagon train up open. There's a snake in my boot.
I just love that slow retract feature, and yeah, it just works really great. And I like that it hangs down a little bit lower. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than my last Woody mod, I feel like. So That is really good. And as you can see here, I think one of the knots got a little loose. So I see that's why you have to wait for it to dry a little bit. And I'm going to make sure that's more secure before I pull it more. And now the head. This is the easy part. Basically, you follow the pocket that we cut, just like we did the hand mod, except this time we are putting the new head with the new neck peg right in there. And so we just kind of want to slide it in. This really brings Woody to life when you get the new head sculpt, because it's toy mode and it looks like Woody from the movie. Exactly like what we did with the hands. Make sure that it's all the way in the pocket, and this zip tie is going to hug around that neck peg. So I made sure Woody was really well in there, and make sure you still have head articulation. Very important. You want his head to spin so us toys can see everything.
We toys can see everything. So play nice.
We're gonna keep tightening the zip tie all the way. You want it very, very tight because you definitely do not want this head to fall off. So as you tighten it, just keep that in mind. Go very slow. You can always undo this, but you know, definitely. And this is what makes Woody's head floppy, is because his head is no longer connected to the voice box like the collection was. He's going to be more floppy now because he's got wiggle room. Basically, literally, he's got wiggle room in there because he's not connected to that voice box. And I'm just going to keep tightening it and tightening it so it is a little bit more firm to turn his head. I just really don't want this head to fall off ever. I cut the excess zip tie off, and now we can tie the bandana to hide this. But I made sure it was really stuck in there, and the head still rotates, and it's got a really good flop to it actually. So yeah, the zip tie is very tight around this neck peg. It's definitely not going anywhere. So all I did was double knot the bandana, and it covers up our new zip tie there, so we have no issues there. And to clean things up, you can just shove like fabrics and threads with a little screwdriver. I found that's kind of the cleanest way to make things look better, you know, without damaging anything. Just kind of shove it down here with the screwdriver. You can kind of, you know, it's pretty easy to do. You just got to be patient, and then you can position things the way you want it. So I just kind of shoved the fabric down a little bit here in the front so it looks better, and I think this looks really good. We have our movie accurate pin, and just like the movie, we're going to pin it on Woody to make sure it sits in the right position. After a few stabs, I got it in the right position, and wow, this looks really cool and definitely movie accurate.